Hello, I'm Owlman Paul with Project Perch. We're in Clewiston, Florida at Paige Farms. I'm here with Steve Paige, the owner, and we're converting pasture land into sugarcane. There's owls that are living in the pasture land since the 1950s. So today we're installing 6 pairs of artificial burrows right along this track where the owls will have new homes. So Steve, can you tell me a little bit about this project?
The process of prepping the land is going to be detrimental to the owls, so we're trying to give them a new home, and hopefully it'll work out and go from there.
The cattle that have been here, you had mentioned they've been in your family, you've been taking care of cows for how long?
Well, we've been here since 1959 and have always had cattle. And then in the mid-90s, we started changing to sugarcane. And I prefer the cows, but economics made us have to change for me.
Why is sugarcane more profitable?
It has to do with the process, and the cows at some period of time they're real high, like they are right now. The market's high, but they have quite a bit of lows, and at times you have a problem paying your bills. So I've decided, my dad never wanted to and wouldn't, but I'm getting older, and I can ride a tractor now and not a horse, so.
I see, I get that. Okay, so this area of land that we're going to be installing the burrows on, this is not going to be any part of the development, not cane at all?
We're planning to leave this separate just for the owls.
So this will be a forever owl preserve.
As long as I got it, I assume, yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Project Perch loves our owl guardians, and you are a premier owl guardian, Steve. Thank you.
Well, we'll see how it works out. I hope they move, and if not, we'll do something else.
Okay, well, we have had good success with the artificial burrow system. The Florida Fish and Wildlife
they look like a good design.
So, all right. Very good. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're coming up on the natural burrow where this post is.
Yes. Been there a long time.
There's a pair of owls that's been here for a long, long time. We're leaving them alone, and we're going to be installing the artificial burrows at least 150 feet away so that the new families that are going to be moving up to this area won't be imposing on this family of owls' land. So there they are. They were here this morning, we saw them. They took off when I went to put the perch up, but I'm sure they'll come right back. One concern was we saw hawks in the area, but they seem to have moved on. The owls and hawks have coexisted a long time.
Yeah, yeah, and they don't seem to be too scared of them. They'll go in their hole when they fly right over.
Okay.
It's what I've noticed.
Yeah, the owls, if they're out during the day, they're scanning for predators. You'll see them turning their heads.
Yeah.
That's why they're looking for the hawks.
That's one of the neat things about them. They look like they can turn their head all the way around.
Okay.
What's he doing?
Yeah, we can go out up to Kelly. We'll go up to Kelly. Kelly's been marking the spacing for the other pairs of burrows. Let's go see what she's been doing where we're going to put the other sets.
So we're happy with this one. We're happy to leave the room for the gate.
I like that a little better.
We'll just look at these and see if they need to adjust, or we think they're all right, and we're on our way.
Well, I don't know anything about it. You'll have to answer all of that.
Yeah.
But okay.
I'm pretty excited. Are you excited to be digging them in?
Well,
helping them.
I'm a little.
Helping them adjust.
I'm a little nervous because I don't know that much about the owls, you know, and you and Paul are into it pretty big. I'm concerned with now when I mow, do I need to mow all the way from there to the fence, or?
Yeah, I think you want to try and keep this area mowed the way you've got it. You can leave, we usually see, the artificial burrows are a bit tougher. So the lighter the lawn equipment, the less you're going to bother them. But if you're out here on something really big, you would just, not run right over the burrows and come and do that with like a weed whacker or something right in that.
Oh,
that
use a
kind
weed
of
whacker, right?
Yeah, just around like 10 feet around the burrow entrances.
Oh, okay. I thought the less noise and stuff, the better off you were. Okay.
You don't want it to grow so tall. So you think about them. I always say to the kids, we can't do it right here, but I always say to the kids, like, get down like this. They need visibility to keep after the hawks. So if it's too grown up, they're
Okay.
going to abandon here and go someplace where they've got more visibility.
all
So
right.
you want to just keep, which it's got great visibility right now. And they've got these fence posts to help them out. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
How often do you mow it now?
Not very often. The cattle
Take
keep
care of it?
keep it eaten down.
Yeah, and we're headed into dry season,
Yeah.
so the cattle can kind of keep up with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I was hesitating to knock everything down, when they move out.
Right. Are you going to keep some cows? Or
We're debating that.
you must have some best friends out there.
Well, yes, I have some that are very old. They have just continually produced,
Yep,
and it's hard to get rid of something that's producing.
that's doing well.
And then when they become old, they bring less money if you have to sell them. So
Right.
I don't know. Yeah,
So
there's
maybe
some.
just keep them producing and
Yeah, and then just
and
let them
wind it
decline
out.
like.
Yep, yep.
But we've got some
let
out
them
there.
retire.
We raised on a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're special, but that's not profitable.
Not profitable. Well, they could certainly keep the owls area
Well,
mowed,
they-
right?
that's-
Cheaper for them to mow the owl area than.
That's something it's funny. The owls have been completely happy and the cows, they don't stand.
It's something that works between them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been real surprised.
Yeah.
And that one, the one that I talked about's been there so long is close to the water trough and the mineral box, and there's a lot of traffic by the cows. Not bothered a bit. They just sit there.
And I wonder if that doesn't help them, where we see all these hawks in the sky, and these guys, that's their biggest worry, is that aerial predation.
Yes.
So if I'm closer to where the cows are coming in all the time or going out all the time, I'm getting a little protection from those predators,
yeah.
because the cows are kind of keeping them
Yeah.
at bay.
Yes.
Yeah. So a little bit of a symbiotic relate. You know what I mean? They're helping each
Well,
other.
they've worked it out.
Yes,
And,
yeah. Long before we were here.
well, it seems that way, yes.
Yeah.
But that burrow has been there longer than this one here.
Yes.
And
Yeah. So that'll be our challenge, is how well they've done down there for so long.
that one's
We're
going to
not
be a
asking
challenge.
for a big adjustment, but
That one's going to be a big challenge.
all right. Well, why don't we try and get Susan and Don? Can they park right where?
Yes, but now.
And then we'll have to drive them around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't I head that way
Okay.
and go ahead and go around and I'll
And
get
get
them.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
Well,
down
I'm thinking maybe use that spot there, and there's enough room to put one here eventually when there is no passage there.
Right. We could do that too. Yeah.
So you'd have another one.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Those over there are what, 60 feet to 50 feet?
So when they figured out the rules, when they figure out state rules, they have to look at peer referenced publications. So most of the distance and area requirements for the Florida burrowing owl are based off of studies for the western burrowing owl and sometimes for urban burrowing owls. So a lot of times we see owls that, especially in urban Florida, we see owls that might just be 10 feet apart or 20 feet
Yeah.
apart or 40 feet apart.
And happy.
And happy. And Dr. Mealy will say it's not about, they're not as territorial because those are their kids or their cousins or their sister. So it's just an extended family, so they don't mind being close together. It's like you letting your son be right there. You don't
Yeah.
mind him,
Yes.
right? But if it was somebody else, you'd be like, no, that's not okay.
Well, that must
So-
be exactly what that is, because there's a mound over there that's been there for decades.
Right. So as they have successful young, a lot of times the adults, because they're much better
they're all-
diggers, dad will dig a new burrow for the young and stay on the original mound and help his young find territory.
Okay, well, that's probably what's
And
happened.
that's probably how they've spread down here.
Yeah.
And who knows how they ended up here, but they saw a good spot, they found it. It's not far from home.
Yeah, there used to
But-
be two, and for some reason, one family
Moved back.
moved away.
When we look at this natural, we'll see they look like they're suffering a little bit from collapses
Yes.
in the natural burrow. So if you pick a spot up here and you get, you know what I mean, you have
Yeah.
a couple collapses, you go, oh, maybe, high ground over there is better. And so you kind of,
Well, doesn't the environment, like right now, it's beginning to be real dry?
mm-hmm.
They're not indigenous to this area to begin with, right? They're mostly.
We've man altered it to be a bit more conducive for them, right? Because they're, I describe them as a relic or a holdover from when Florida was for a desert. So they're looking for that dry, sandy scrub that Florida used to be out kind of on that coastal ridge.
Yes.
And so the Everglades was not an original home to them or anywhere
Yeah.
that was wet or soft. But we're in here altering it, and you've got a lot of the right things, right?
Yeah,
So they
okay.
adapt.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
And they feed in areas like this?
Yeah, frogs, lizards, you name it, right? They've got plenty of stuff to eat here. And the cows, there's all sorts of studies. They like cow dung, they follow the cattle.
Yeah, there's always
right? Because
bugs.
the cattle
Okay.
are buggy and have,
If we go ahead and talk a while, we won't have to dig.
That's an old farmer trick.
Paul's getting with it.
Oh, and there's Susan and Don trying to find us out there on the road.
They just turned around. so
Yeah, so they've found us without any help from us. They're dialing phones and trying to get us.
well, Paul was trying
So-
to talk to you, and yours was in the truck.
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
So how long have you been out here?
For a long time. We, my dad came out here in '58, and my mother and I came in '59. Of course, I was young, and we've lived. That's the original house down there. My son lives there, and we've just been here ever since.
So I guess a little bit of change is coming on.
Oh boy, yes. There's quite a bit of traffic on the road when there wasn't even a road. When we first came, we traveled the dike and had no electricity, no phone, had running water with a large tank up in the air on stilts. But things have changed quite a bit. Progress, I guess you'd say. But it's all for the good. But I'm getting a little too old, can't keep up anymore.
Well, it's great that you're helping the owls. It's a nice project.
Well, I'm trying. I couldn't, when you have the chance to do that, I think you should go ahead try to help the environment. Sometimes it's not popular or not economic, but sometimes I think it's your duty to do it.
Yeah, it's great that there's an organization like Project Perch.
Oh yes,
to help.
yes. That was a good find. If it hadn't been for Scotty, I probably wouldn't have ever been able to find Project Perch.
You did that narrow shovel for me. That's okay. It should go.
Shovel width.
I think that's perfect. Just round up the sides and then get that loose fill out. And you'll be 8 inches, which works as well. I was telling Dixon and his crew that if you have too much disturbed soil, like you dig too deep, you put more back, it's going to sink right in.
Yeah.
But you got to have the undisturbed soil.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that, Kelly. And then flush up against that back wall. So our second pair of artificial burrows is in the ground. Generally, once we finish, we put the white sand back up onto the side. Because we're working in parks, we want to leave it looking pretty. But here we're out in nature. We can leave this white dirt out. It'll help attract the owls to the site. Yep. So we put half a container of sand on each burrow, 25 pounds. And then we'll spread it around, and we come back tomorrow, the next day, day after, looking for black dirt kicked back onto the sand. We're also looking for owl prints. And of course, we're looking for the owls. That would be the best if we see the owls right here in front of the burrows or on the perch right here. So
Owl feathers.
owl feathers
Owl
is a
feathers
sure
are a
sign,
favorite.
yes. Okay, let me
All right, I'm gonna put this.
grab a post to make a hole for the perch. You can smooth the sand out.
Move the sand. Give him a heart like you did last time.
The owls have been to the school of Cali. They know what the heart symbol means.
Right here.
That's a good signature touch, Cali. I like that.
I just learned that on the aisle. I just learned that at the last owl dig.
We should have Steve sign some burrows.
Sign some burrows.
Yes,
I lost
he
all
owns
my
them.
markers last time.
I think I have one of them in my truck. I left it. I said, I'll return it to Cali.
That would be really nice because the digging, you know what I mean, with his back injury.
Sure,
and
sure.
Stuff, that would be a better way.
If he wants to help, he can help fill in a burrow.
Yep.
And then he can sign the burrows before we put them in to get that ownership.
And they're his burrows. So
They're his owls,
he doesn't even
his
need
burrow.
to get ownership because they're his owls.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So the valve box is sitting on a valve box, which is about 10 inches. And then the pipe, end of the pipe is sitting on a couple of bricks that are 4 inches, which nets out to 6 inches, which is what we shoot for when we put the valve box in the ground. We want 6 inches of dirt on top. So we'll have this angle of the pipe at exactly the right angle we want when we bury it into the ground. And when we put the first 2 zip ties in, we leave them loose until we get all 3 zip ties started. Once we get them all started, then we tighten them and we snip off the ends, leaving just a little bit so that we can grab them with some needle nose if we need to pull or adjust them later.
Adjust it later on.
I like this open spot here.
Come down here. You're on your way? Yeah. Thank you.
If I was an owl, Kelly, I would like this. Are you okay with this? You like it? This one I love because it's all low and open.
Yes,
and
it's
this
nice
one,
and high.
Yeah, and the next one has to be like very close, so I just set it there.
Yeah.
That'll work? Okay. I'll break up the sod with the shovel.
Right, but I do think we're not so concerned about this because we're not really fencing these. We're not worried about their distances necessarily.
True.
Right?
True.
So we've got a little bit of flexibility, which we normally don't have.
That's a very valid point. Good point.
So if you see a little bit of better ground, you just slide it this way if we like it or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm fine there. That's on the top of a hill. I like being there
Yep.
because they probably dug here in the past, and that's why we have a hill there.
Yep.
Y'all need any help?
We need
We'll
your
be there in a
autograph.
minute.
We need your autograph. We need you to sign a couple of these burrows.
Okay, all right, be glad to. Be right there.
When Kelly got the original information about this location, I drove up and met Steve, and he took me around, gave me the grand tour. And when I shared that with Kelly, it was like a project. We couldn't turn it down. These owls needed help, and Steve absolutely loves his owls. You know, he's out in the middle of the boondocks. Nobody would know if he didn't do the right thing, and maybe some people will, but that's not in Steve's character. Steve wanted to do the right thing, so here we are today. That's why Project Perch exists, to help the owls and to help the landowners. And the landowners like Steve are amazing.
Well, and we talked about the digging of the ditch and how this was created out here. And so he's been supporting these owls since the 50s and the 60s. So I think that's unique too. Good morning.
Hey, Don.
Where's all the digging? I heard the word no digging.
That's how we get you out here. We say there are plenty of volunteers.
Good, good. So Steve Dixon texted me. I texted him to confirm, and last night he replied, sorry, truck's in the shop. Can we make it Tuesday? Kelly flew down for this.
I know.
Tom's coming out today. You guys are coming. I said, no, we can't do Tuesday. We have to scope a week from tomorrow.
I think you're doing a fantastic job, is what I think. Y'all even put the sod back. That's
Well, a lot of our installs are in parks, so they're very worried about what the grass looks like. You're not so worried.
no, ma'am. I
It'll
got
grow back.
no, ma'am. Over across the fence, I'm trying to keep it out of there.
Yeah.
It's the easiest digging ever. There's no rock, no coral. It's like, man.
Shh, don't say nothing there. We're liable to hit a boulder here directly.
How about some oil?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
Hit some
hefty.
oil.
They say it's here, but it's low, is what they say.
I'm all dirty. It's so good to see you.
Steve,
Sir.
take this marker,
He's digging.
please.
Yes.
Digging.
He's signing right here. I need his autograph. You put your John Hancock on here, the owls are more likely to come to it if they know it's yours.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
People
right
are not
all
that
over
way
there.
around me. They'd rather not be bothered with me.
I know you've taken care of these owls, so they'll be happy with you.
Well, we'll see. I hope
All
so.
right.
Watch out.
Yeah, okay. Pass that over to Callie. Callie, you want to?
Does Susan want to sign one?
You guys gonna sign, be part? You're here, so. Yeah, it's very nice.
You guys are doing a pretty neat job with this job.
All right.
Try.
After about 500, we kind of learn a little bit.
All right, John.
Go owl.
Beautiful.
All right.
So, again, you ain't no gloves?
Uh,
Yes, I brought an extra pair.
yeah.
If you're all right with ones like these.
Well, they're not my color, but. So I know where
Oh
to-
man, that's you, Paul.
Oh man, Paul.
I knew that was you digging when I saw you.
You knew that wasn't the sprinkler guys, right? That's
Yeah,
Paul
I know.
over
I
there.
recognized the truck.
Oh, okay. That works out well. Yeah. So this one's about set, right? Looks pretty good.
Want me to check the depth, or you can tell it by eye?
Just want to square it up. And then
Well, I have
get
no
that
idea
angle there.
what I'm doing.
You're all right.
Looks like you're doing perfect.
Yes,
Good
sir.
idea.
Yes, sir. So up here is real shallow, just like 5 inches deep, but we need that angle perfect down to the
Oh, it has to be.
16-inch round hole
Well,
there.
if it needs to be perfect, you're gonna have to help me.
Well, we don't want the pipe pointing up in the air because there's a big lip here. So if we make this perfectly round and then we have a big lip, that pipe doesn't angle up even smooth.
Okay.
So the
Alright.
concern is that you're getting like, you may be there.
Once you see one in the ground, Steve, you'll realize what he's talking about.
See the angle of this?
Yeah.
This is,
Is that
This is
long
a-
enough?
yeah, it's definitely long. The way we pull the sod, we put that in place and then we etch the sod around it so we
Oh.
have the perfect length.
Okay.
And then we move the pipe and the box out of the way, and then we just dig that round hole 16 inches deep. See the red mark here? If you get to the top of the red, that's pretty close.
Okay.
That's my cheat. I think you're there. We don't like to have disturbed soil underneath
Oh.
because the box and the pipe will settle down into it.
Oh, okay.
So we want to scoop out this loose stuff. But because the sand dirt here is just so loose, we're not ever going to hit like hard ground. So we'll just get rid of this little bit.
Well, it was a little hard. I actually shuffled it around, which I shouldn't have done.
Okay.
I thought I had to go deeper. Actually, don't look like it's big enough.
Let's put it in the ground.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I thought I might have saw an eagle. Yeah.
You see how it's sitting up there?
Is that good or bad?
That's bad. So we need to go a little bit further because this is back. We do need to dig this one back a little bit more. Who has my shovel?
Oh.
Trade you.
Okay.
My boots do better with these.
Yeah, that big step thing.
Hey Paul, are you making these perches, or are these the Spanish style mops that you're buying and cutting down?
Those are T-mops.
Oh, okay. That's what it looked like.
To what?
T-mops?
T-mops. I cut off 2 feet. You can put a cloth around the top part
Yeah.
and use it to clean your ceilings, your floors.
Yeah.
And then you
it's-
just
it's
wash the
like,
towel.
Spanish.
Yeah, we're buying the PVC and putting them together. with
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that looks really familiar. I've got one in the garage.
It was actually, they didn't have
Try
enough
not to
of
look
them.
at it. That'd be me.
Absolutely.
I bought 200 for Project Perch. Well, Project Perch bought 200, and they didn't have enough of them in the store in the boxes. So
Yeah.
they special ordered, they delivered them to my house. But they delivered 200 loose on a wooden pallet. And the forklift's coming, and these perches, these 4 foot, they're like sliding all over. And I only had 199. I'm sure the other one must have fallen off in the warehouse or the truck.
Did you ask for credit?
No, no.
Come on, Paul.
They already gave us a discount for the delivery because we're not for profit. We take care of owls. Okay.
So we try and keep this really tight in the back so they don't have collapses as they
Oh,
start
okay.
to dig out. If we loosen too much up, then it kind of sinks right behind the box.
Yeah.
We've
Okay.
learned that the hard way.
We've had to go back and do some repairs. You go, why are there holes, behind our burrows? The dirt just falls right through. Because when they dig out here and go an extra 6 feet, the soil will just fall right through.
So that's why the little dip in the soil, in the grass, you can see a dip where they're digging on further down.
Sometimes, yes, sir.
Yes, yeah.
That's settling. Try this again. I think we're good. I think that'll work. So now, Steve,
Nobody said
I'll fill it. I know how to fill it in,
there you go.
so it doesn't leak or anything. in
Nope.
there.
These valve boxes, some of them have holes all the way drilled through to where dirt would fall in. And if we get that style, I'll use some duct tape over it so that dirt won't fall in.
That's it. That was right where I was having trouble.
Oh, there's some white sand down there.
Yeah, think like an owl, Susan. What do you think of the whole site?
The whole side. I love it.
Yeah, it seems like it's. All right, you want to try again?
I don't see any predators.
Well, they were here earlier.
Yeah, but the red shoulders.
I thought you said they coexisted.
I'm talking about hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their biggest enemy is, what would you say, Cooper's hawks
Coopers.
in
owls
urban
at night.
environments.
Owls?
Yeah.
Red tails will eat them.
Well, they're gonna have trouble. They're putting up owl boxes in all cane field.
What I told you.
We looked at those this morning.
Yeah.
But those barn owls are after the mice in the cane field, right?
Yes.
So that would be a far more
I'm sure they've got
lucrative or
enough
easy dinner to snatch than.
babies that have parents that are not so excited about that.
What do we think? I think I'm close enough.
You gonna backfill that seed?
I gotta wait and see.
You can leave. Yeah, just leave them there. That's fine for now. I'm going to store them so I don't have to climb back here anymore. Store a dozen. 6 more, I think.
Oh boy, I don't know about that stuff. Yeah, that looks like a job big as that is.
What, the pipe? We had Harrah's from Caesar's Entertainment. They bought 12 14 footers for us. Part of the job we're doing with them. So we had Dixon sprinkler systems, come out to the South Florida Wildlife Center where our saws are, and they cut 48 burrow pipe for us.
But how much did the price go up?
I didn't pay for it, so
That's what I was thinking. These got to be expensive.
yeah, yeah, they really have.
Gas a day? $2.99 a gallon. Couldn't believe it.
$2.99. Wow.
$2.99.
Yeah. All right. Let me have this one. Put it up here. Grab a pipe.
I came home from a New Year's Eve party early. Kept my clothes on, went to the cow pen to check on the cow. She'd prolapsed and I'd sewed her up.
Oh man. Yeah.
I said, I better go check on that cow. I'm in my dress clothes, sure enough. She's trying to have the calf. I got to cut the strings out, pull the calf, put the strings back. That's the kind of stuff I'm tired of.
Do you ever do dairy cattle?
Me?
Or yeah, or just
No,
beef?
sir. My dad, he used to have to milk 14 head night and morning. In Okeechobee, when he was going to school, he said, I'll never make you have a dairy cow. Now, we'd occasionally have to milk one out for a baby calf. But,
Okay, sure. Yeah.
but we got commercial crossbred cows, or
Yeah.
had.
I've seen robots are milking them now.
Yeah,
They'll squirt cleaner
Yeah.
on the little teats, and then they'll grab hold and they'll milk. And the cows learn this, and they put special feed. So when the cows walk themselves in to be milked, they're eating the good feed, and they're just happy as can be. They get the relief.
Well, they want
and then
that.
they wander out. Yeah.
they want that out of them.
I was really impressed with how far the technology's come, and the cows just come up to get milk by themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's a win-win.
Seems that way.
How are we doing over here, Kelly?
I don't know. I didn't do the covering no
You need
further.
some sand? All right. I might have one here. Yep. There you go. Yep, looks good.
You all right with these two?
I'm happy. I'll dump and you can spread.
Yep.
They should have a T or a perch down there somewhere. You got a cat?
Cat? Yes, I do.
Do you?
That's why I have all my sand
Yeah,
boxes.
that's what I,
I had a couple cats for a long time. So.
have you?
You know, those bags of sand, we buy playground sand
Yes.
because it's clean.
Yeah,
We don't have to worry about germs. We don't have to worry about anything foreign in the sand.
yeah.
And it's good for the owls. And I had, you know, those bags it comes in. They'll rip, they'll get sand all in
Yeah.
your truck.
Yeah, you'll waste part of it.
Once you get them in the tidy cat, it's like perfect.
Yeah, my son's got a yard cat, tomcat.
What's his name?
He picked him up, Rhodey.
Rhodey.
Yeah, he picked him up
That's
on
a
the
good
road.
name. He found him on the road, named him
Yeah,
Rhodey.
he was just a kitten.
So Kelly, did Dr. Mealy come up with the original pipe and box design, or has that been used before?
Dr. Mealy's original design was just the pipe with the bottoms cut out. He was on a couple of commercial sites, so he also did an elbow and 2 runs, a bit of a long tunnel underneath with an entrance, so like a big L, maybe more like a V, or you know what I mean, like what's the right letter for that? But so kind of just underground like that. And then he always described them as temporary, something to allow the owls not to lose their homes, to stay on the site temporarily, and then give them enough lay of the land they would figure it out. And then as we installed the pipes at schools and at different places, where mowers were always running over them, we had a lot of collapses right behind the pipe. So I went through a year where we went through 3 collapses back to back, and that's when Dr. Mealy and Grant and we all said, let's add a nesting box, because other places were sinking these really big nesting boxes, but we didn't need a big nesting box. So that's where the box came along. Dr. Mealy always wanted their talons in the dirt. He said they don't cross some of those other pipes. So having the bottoms cut out and then opening up the other side, both Grant Campbell and Dr. Mealy felt keeping the owls digging level. So it's come a long way. They seem to...
Your shovel or your shovel for measuring?
Just 18 inches.
Yeah, 6 inches on top of the green.
There?
Yeah,
That's it?
I think so. We'll set it in the ground and take a look, make sure the angle of the pipe is all right before we know for sure.
I'll set it in and we'll see how we're doing. We still need more depth down there, right? You're a solid 3 or 4 inches down, so maybe just...
Yeah, the front we shouldn't go as deep. The front, it's too late on this one, but yeah, in the front, the next one don't go very deep at all.
But it still needs, the box still needs to be deeper.
The sides of the box are hitting the edges. You see where it's scraping? Yeah, make that a little bit wider and then it'll sink down. I think you may have the right depth, but we just aren't getting the box all the way to the bottom.
Right. How many owls does it take to dig a burrow?
How many owl lovers?
How many owl lovers does it take to build a burrow?
Kelly, remember I told you that at Chaminade, the burrows, I can't find them?
Yes.
We've had that at Cooper City High. We had that at so many locations. That's another reason why the deeper the entrance goes, the harder it is to spot years down the road when they do grow over, if they grow over.
It depends on the maintenance too on the site.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things, you know, we always underestimated how much Grant came along with mower weights, and Owl Cam captured them mowing over the burrows. And I mean, you think they just go once, twice, 3 times and then they're gone. Yeah. On the one we captured, they went over the burrow 27 times in one mowing. And so we were like, they're just gonna sink. And so we started roping them and fencing them so they didn't get that kind of pressure.
27 times.
27 times, and
They knew if they finished this job, they'd have to go do another job, so they made that job last all day?
Well, and they were turning around and trying to, you know what I mean, weave around.
Wow.
And of course it was on the camera, so they were worried about what things look like publicly, and people were calling and saying, stop them from running over them. But it just taught us how much pressure they take and how much abuse. So if the mower gets it right and it's wet out, you've sunk it and it's gone. So I think, you know, when we originally designed it, we thought it could just be run over by a large mower in the original designs. That was part of the appeal. Well, we'll sink these artificial burrows and then you can just run over them and not worry about collapsing their burrows.
So Don, you remember Craig Rupp Dog Park? You helped us put in artificial burrows there.
Oh my
We have a volunteer who lives there.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lucia. And Lucia has just finished her final scoping. She's going to be a registered agent. Now she just has to finish up the paperwork. And she's got eyes on that park. There's so many owls there. It's
They're
amazing.
doing so well at Craig Rupp. That's one of those, like this, larger installations, bigger pairs of burrows. And so they can grow, the population can grow a little bit.
Yeah.
They came
We're over
in
500. It's like, yeah.
in the last census with Lily Beth. Greg Rupp was over 50. Tefford Park was quite high in the 40s. Rock Creek was over 50. Embassy Lakes was holding quite a few, and those were truly, we had gotten out of the business of doing just one pair at a time or two pairs at a time or one. We were into the business now of doing 6 pair or 5 pair and then linking them. So Rock Creek is right next to Embassy Lake. So if there's 12 at Rock Creek, there's another 12 at Embassy. So
Ever going to be enough?
Okay.
Well,
We-
I mean, for the environment.
it's a serious question because I asked it in the beginning. Is that what's my goal? 250, 500? Like what are we talking about? And we don't have perfect retention rates. So as Paul's describing, we've lost some burrows or places have developed.
Dead?
Say that again.
Are they dead? The birds?
Just pushed around, right?
But
they're
they're
going to get
still
pushed
living.
for the most part, but they would suffer higher predation as they try
Okay.
and move around, and they
Yeah.
would have trouble. They might miss a nesting season if that's when construction is. So, yeah.
Well, I just wondered if they would ever come off of the endangered or threatened species list or.
So Susan and I wondered this because FAU was in the Final Four for basketball.
Yes.
Was that this last year? And they were doing an article about the burrowing owl as their mascot. And they sent a reporter out, and was she National Geographic? She was National Geographic, and she was doing this article about their mascot. And so she was trying to get accurate numbers for how many owls were at FAU. And historically, they've had lots of them. FAU is right next to an airport in Boca, so it has owls at the neighboring airport. And so I think they published 56 burrows, somewhere around there. And then they got some estimates from the state as to how many burrowing owls there were statewide.
Yes.
She reported, I'm just checking my numbers, 10,000 is what the state told her statewide. And so then I called Susan, Susan called me, Debbie called me, I called Debbie, and I said, where are the 10,000 birds?
Exactly.
So maybe if Broward County, if I've got 2,500 birds, and if Cape Coral's got 2,500 birds, maybe 5,000, but I'm like, everywhere else, it's Marco's quite small, the Keys, they're not there anymore. They're at some Air Force bases. So we were trying to come up with those numbers.
Well, what about out in the rural
And then,
area?
and then we went back out to FAU to look at the 56 burrows and tried to photograph owls, and we photographed mostly iguanas. So we found 6 or 8 owls,
Maybe there were that many.
and they were mostly on the
So the
airport
iguana
property.
is a problem.
The iguana's a big problem.
Okay.
Do you have iguana problems?
I won't have, no. I don't have any at this time.
You don't have any at this
No.
time. So that's a huge perk for them
Yeah.
because come nesting season, the iguanas are hunting for the same high, dry ground that the owl is.
Okay. Well, there was one over at a pump station that I take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And I left him alone, but he didn't last long.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
What
to him.
happened to him? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with alligators and,
I mean, there's a lot.
we have a lot of alligators.
And will they eat iguana?
I don't know, but I would bet they would dispose
They
of.
would try, yeah.
It's,
That's, I think, one of the problems is not a whole lot of predators for iguanas.
yeah, the same way with the python.
Yes.
Part of it is because they, didn't start out here.
Right. Right.
And as a farmer, I didn't have anything to do with that, with the python.
Yeah, I imagine you didn't.
About right here, Doc.
You got the mallet?
Yeah, he woke up with him in the bed one night.
Yeah, that's it. Decided you didn't want that for a partner.
We have a little bit of owl biology here with me taking care of the burrow like the female owl does when she's nesting. She kind of scoops it out each day and straightens it out and brushes everything. And we'll leave our sand clean so we can see the tracks and wish them the best. And then once we've got our perch, we're on to our next set.
On to our next project.
One more set of burrows, right? Or is this, we have one more, right? Yeah. And then our next project. They're coming right for him.
That's
I'm
what we
scared. He's
want.
going to go across. Can we visit, Steve?
Ooh.
Can I come with you? Yes,
That's
ma'am.
it. Yes, sir.
I heard a yes, ma'am.
Hopefully you're not faster than me.
Oh, I hope and I am.
Hey, baby. Hey, girl. What y'all doing? Huh? Hey, dog. Don't run off now. We're taking pictures.
Now, have you bottle fed all of these?
No.
How many?
There's just one big cow that we bottle fed that she's normally right in the middle of everything. These two are wormy. Not getting enough to eat. I've got several old cows in here that should have been sold and I didn't have the heart to do it. I didn't see her. I thought she'd be here.
They're not sure what to make of us, right? Out here with you?
Yeah, she's bred. Well, I don't come out here much anymore. This is the first time I've been in here in a month or so. I've been on the excavator.
Yep.
This smell. I was thinking that we call her Dobie. I was thinking she'd come up here, but
Yep.
I don't see her.
She could be way back there
Oh yeah.
in the back.
Yeah, she doesn't hang with them too close because I guess because we raised her, you know.
Right.
I don't-
She's like
I don't know
not
that.
totally cow.
Yeah.
Part human, part cow.
I got to get some of these calves off of them before the winter gets set in. It'll have a frost and all of this will be dead.
Look at the monarch butterfly right in the middle of all the cows.
Is that what that is?
The orange one.
I saw some black ones with yellow spots the other day.
Yeah. Now Paul was trying to come up with a polite way to ask you about the end product here, the meat, the steaks, like.
Yeah, what about it? They're not really very good to eat right now. They're they have to be fed.
Fattened up, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And some of these cows I know of two in here that's 17 years old,
Yeah.
and that's
Unusually
really not
old.
economic to keep them that long.
Yes, yeah.
Just I'm getting old and I have soft heart, I guess, or something.
Well, the owls are thankful for that. For your soft heart, right?
Oh. Oh. What is it? Paul said it's going to make me head to heaven, or just think about it. Well, some of them that their ribs are showing have got big calves on them.
Yep.
And kind of pulling them down. I got to get them off of them before the winter sets in, or frost.
Thanks for reaching out, Mike.
Yeah, you could call Paul, and then when we would try to reach out. We have like a network of volunteers. I don't know what your closest like rehab center would be, but it would be more just getting the owl in a container, in a cardboard box,
Like a
or in
cat
something.
box, like
yeah,
a
cat
carrier.
carrier is perfect. Something that could be transported in.
They bite.
They do bite. Gloves and wings, and get them into the box, and then we would try and find an owl
you.
guardian. Yep, call me.
Okay.
And then I'll call around, and Bush's South Florida Wildlife Center is expert with owls. Pelican Harbor. Bush's Wildlife Center is a little bit further north, but
Where is that?
but it's still East Coast down by us. So we
Oh,
would
okay.
probably, it's only an hour and a half. So I would send somebody, and then I try to take them right to South Florida Wildlife, because they have
Okay.
all the equipment, x-rays, they have everything right there on site to triage them and rehab them. And then in our case, we'd bring him home. If the owl survives and they do well, we bring them back
his
to where
mate
they
would
came
be
in.
Gone, or his or her mate.
Well, this is their home and their territory,
Oh,
so we
okay.
bring them home. And if they haven't been gone too long,
What's too long?
I've seen them go back after 2, 3, 4 months.
Oh, really?
And yeah,
Same hole?
same
Burrow?
hole, same, yep. And we've had to triage ones quicker because they had a family or they had young, and I need the female to get home, or I need the male to get back and hunt. So yeah, we try.
Well, they both hunt, right?
They both hunt, yep. But when they have young, they really need 2 of them
Yeah.
working at it.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you ever had an injured one, and you've got a lot of farm experience, but if it's, you know what I mean, we always try, and then they can necropsy them too and figure out, what happened.
What's that?
Like an autopsy for a bird.
Oh.
So they'll necropsy it, and they'll look for a bunch of different things.
So do you ever euthanize them?
They do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't let them suffer, and they have pretty strict rules for what's considered releasable. They make sure they pass mouse school. They make sure their wings are working. The South
place you
Florida.
took 'em?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll go through rehab and then physical therapy, and then ideally they come home. Pop them. What you would want if you went to the hospital.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Never been, so I guess
Pretty lucky
so far.
so far.
Just want to get it flush against that back wall, just a tad. That's good. That way they don't dig out. 6 pairs of artificial burrows in the ground today so that the owls have new habitat that they can move to. This is the sign that we're going to install so that whoever comes onto this property, they'll know that, hey, these are owls and they're a threatened species. So if you can hold that for me just 1 second, we're going to put it like right here in the middle. Make a little hole. All right, right there. Get this guy right in that hole. And we are done, Owls.
Woohoo!
All right.
Heed the warnings.
Heed the
Fox
warnings.
News tonight.